What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Change Your Story podcast. I'm your host and transformation coach, Hannah Dawson. I'm also the owner and founder of the Fit Club app. It's your all in one female transformation platform where I help women build a fit mind, a fit body, and a fit life. And it truly is a self relationship app. That's what I would label it as. My heart is to help women build a healthy relationship, a loving relationship with themselves, with their body, with food, with life, and go after those things that you've always wanted to go after and fully, feel confident in your body. And, that's my heart's desire with the Change Your Story. And this series, we're really talking about changing your food story. I think this could have so many episodes in it, but I'm trying to keep it to the ones that are resonating with my heart, and hopefully they are with yours. And if you have any questions or if anything does resonate, share it with me. If something else comes up, share it with me, because it might just be something that leads us into something else that I should talk about. So I would love to know how this is impacting you. I'd love to know how it's shifting the way that you're thinking. So make sure you let me know in the comments below if you're watching on YouTube. If you are listening on Apple and Spotify, tag me, DM me, come hang out with me on social media. I just want to say thank you guys for being here. I want to say thank you for sharing your time with me. It's your most valuable asset, and sharing your ears with me. And I hope that I have this thing that what you consume consumes you. So I hope that consuming this consumes something inside of you that ignites the thing that you need to have the shift and have the transformation that you need. And so today, we're really talking about your body not being the problem. Now, this can feel like clarity for some. This can piss some people off. This can make you feel a whole bunch of feelings, right? A whole bunch of emotions. I know we talked about in the first one about your food story and your belief systems, right? You don't have a food problem. Food was never the problem. It was your belief about food, right? And that's absolutely true. And it's, we have this like fear of food, and we have to be willing to understand. A lot of the time we just don't know, right? Ignorance kind of blocks us, but as we know and as we have freedom, that can be great. But sometimes knowing too can almost create more anxiety. I know I've been on both ends of the spectrum of not knowing and then things working and it's great, and then not working and then being frustrated, but then knowing everything and all my education and still feeling stuck, and that's frustrating. So there's a few different layers depending on where you're at with your relationship with yourself and food and your body. And I think that when it comes to our body, it's the same thing. It's like your body isn't the problem. It's the beliefs that you have about your body that are the problem, right? So it's getting awareness and clarity around, around that, and really digging deep and really allowing yourself to be with yourself and alone with your thoughts and journal. And a lot of the time we avoid that. I know I've said this a thousand times is, busyness is just a way that you avoid yourself, right? I'm too busy for that. Or can I do this? I know we just launched our 12-week mentorship of changing your food story. Doors closed today, so if you're listening to this next week, doors closed, but we will reopen it again. But I know I've a few of the ladies said, oh my gosh, now I'm losing my train of thought. Changing your food story, busyness, that's what it was. Like, how much is this going to require? And the I could see the fear already, right? Because we stay busy because we are avoiding the thing that we know already that we have to deal with. And so we'll find like a dopamine hit or a quick fix hit, something extrinsic to chase after. But then we keep finding ourselves back in these cycles of, feeling not confident or not loving ourselves, or, feeling obsessive about food, or just saying fuck it all together and just eating whatever we want and saying it's too obsessive. Those are all just resistance. Those are all just beliefs. When I work one-on-one with women, and, the first things that we usually do is I say we become detectives. We really have to dig deep into our routines. And so this can be everything from nutrition, right? It is really awakening and transformative when you realize that your body and food was never the problem. It was your belief about it, right? It's your belief about it. I want to throw something out, and I'm not going to get into the laws of the universe today and the laws of alignment today. That's actually on a podcast, a series called The Laws of Alignment, if you're into that. But essentially it's that everything is energy, right? And so our thoughts that we have about something, they create an emotion, right? So if we think food is bad or good, that's going to create an emotion. It's going to make us feel that way. If we eat good, we're going to feel good. If we eat bad, we're going to feel bad, right? That's an emotion. An emotion is just energy in motion. And I won't get too sciencey on you today, but when we think about that, is that, your thoughts shape your behavior, right? The thoughts that you think about something create an emotion, and then based on that emotion, you take action, right? Or you don't take action, right? And then we get into the more science part of it is like we have the RAS of the brain. That's your reticular activating system. So this part of the brain filters. So we have the subconscious and the conscious. I know I'm getting a little sciencey, but just stay with me here. The conscious mind can only hold so much and only filter so much. So it only shows you what you believe based on what you think is important, right? The subconscious mind underneath holds everything. It actually runs everything. So it will only show you what you believe is important. So that again is belief systems. If there's deep rooted belief systems in your subconscious mind, guess what? That is what is going to be constantly filtering through your mind. If you believe food is bad, you're going to see examples. You're going to see diet culture all over the place. People confirming that, yes, it's your hormones, and yes, it's your age, and yes, it's this, and there's this for this, and it's, so that's psychology. Now, so that's neuroscience. Now, psychology calls it confirmation bias. And so what that means is you will find confirmation for whatever you believe is true. So if you believe your body is the problem, your brain looks for proof of that truth. And so, okay, I hope you're staying with me. If you're staying with me and you get it, then you get it. If you're lost, just let me know and I'll go deeper. But that's the easiest way I can explain it. So it's like we have this filtering system. I'll kind of use an example. When you want to get pregnant, you see pregnant women everywhere. Why? Because you told your mind that that was important, right? When you want a vehicle or something that you really love, you start seeing it everywhere. Why? Because that excited you, that was important to you. The same goes for the negative story, right? And if the negative story about food or about our body, we're going to get confirmation, whether that's seeing somebody that's reaching their goals that we want to reach, we're going to see it in a negative context instead of like, oh wow, if she could do it, I can do it, right? Your body isn't the problem, it's the belief that you have about it and the action and the energy that comes from that. Does that make sense? And so I just have my notes here, you guys, because I don't want to get squirrel brain. And so when I'm working with women, we really have to dig deep. That's why we have to become a detective. You know what detectives do? They have to find proof that your body is not the problem, or proof that your body is, right? So we look for proof. So what do? First off, when we normally struggle with our body, it's because we think we want to lose weight or it's not how it looks. So what's the first thing that we should do? We should probably see our eating habits, right? So I always get women to track their nutrition on MyFitnessPal. Everything you eat, not trying to hit numbers, but we just look. We look at the data. We track over a certain amount of days based on who you are, where you're at, what your goals are. We'll have a certain protocol that I do that helps. And then from there, we look at that information. We look at that information from a nutrition aspect, energy aspect, as well as nutrients, as well as also patterns and behaviors, right? We're going to see lots of patterns. A lot of the time we're like, well, I eat healthy, but I can't lose weight. Well, that tells me that there's an education problem there. That tells me that there's a knowledge, lack of awareness and lack of knowledge. Sorry, not lack of awareness, a little bit of both. Lack of knowledge, which means that, it doesn't matter. The law of thermodynamics states that it doesn't matter, whether you eat healthy food all the time. If you over consume calories more than your maintenance, more than your body can burn, it stores it as fat. That's just how our body is made. Our body is very amazing. It's a powerful machine. We're going to talk about how to make it work for you. That said, the law of energy balance doesn't matter about food. It just cares about energy intake or energy output. in or out, deficit or surplus. All right. A negative energy balance or a positive energy balance. Now, you could eat McDonald's and be under eating, which is probably pretty hard, but you could, and you could lose weight, right? So, what are we saying is that it doesn't matter. Your body will respond to the law of thermodynamics. So that's the first one. It's not about eating healthy or not eating healthy. Now, if you eat crap, you're going to feel like crap. You're not going to have that same result as, let's say, someone that's eating more consistently with whole foods and tracking than, let's say, someone that's like, if it fits your macros and they're eating shit and whatever, they're going to have a little bit different outcome as far as performance, as far as recovery, as far as vitality, all of those things. So what I would say is, like, understanding what food is, what it does, is so important, ladies. A lot of the time, what we call our body is the problem or food is the enemy is just our lack of awareness around food. Now, I think I said this in the last video, is like bursting your bubble. Like, there's no such thing as fat burning foods or fattening foods, right? You hear someone say, "Oh, I can't eat too much bread," or "I can't eat that." That's fattening. That has a lot. Nuts have tons of fat in it. Or, eat a grapefruit every day and it burns fat. Bursting your bubble. That's not true. The only thing that burns fat doesn't really burn. Fat cells actually shrink. And this we can talk about later on. When you actually lose weight, your fat cells shrink. They shrink. And one of your hormones is in that fat cell. It's called leptin. So leptin is the satiation, makes you feel full. So when you eat something, you feel full. All right. And then ghrelin, is the hunger hormone. So it's like makes you hungry. Now, these hormones can get affected by how much body fat or how little body fat you have, or by chronic dieting. I feel like I've went on a little rabbit hole here. I got to bring myself back to what we were talking about. We were talking about nutrition's energy, balance, energy. Oh my gosh. Food. I'm hanging in here because I'm not going to edit this. This is real time, you guys. Okay, so you have your hormones. So when you're in a deficit, your fat cells shrink. So when your fat cells shrink, so does your satiation. That's why you feel more hungry. And then ghrelin increases and you feel more. So you feel less hungry, or you feel more hungry, and then you feel less satiated. That's what I meant to say. And so that's a part of your body protecting itself. It's not a bad thing, right? But when we've dieted for so long, or not even dieted in a way where we're losing weight, we just have an unhealthy restrict binge cycle. Some of us are very unaware of it, that these cues can be off, that we've never actually understood how to eat at maintenance. We've never actually tracked our macros just to eat. Just to eat to fuel ourselves, just to eat to fuel our brain. A lot of us are just restricting and then binging, and we're like, oh, only eating whole foods or restricting carbs, only to overeat carbs in the pantry at night. I know, girls. I know, because I've done it. Restrict. God forbid we can't have the pasta or the rice because that's too high carb. But then we're in the Oreos or in the ice cream or the handful of chips, but it doesn't count because it's before bed and nobody's seeing it. You're just binging. And then you feel like a piece of shit the next day and you're like, see, I can't. Something's wrong with me. I'm binging. I have a binging problem. No, you actually have a nutrient deficiency problem. We're not eating properly. And so that's why it's like a lot of women will restrict and diet just to get a certain way, and then just stop as soon as they lose weight, which is very unhealthy in the sense of self-relationship, your body relationship. And so that creates stress, that creates this lack of trust with yourself. But you see, you're setting yourself up for failure. That's the thing. We set ourselves up for self-sabotage because, we don't want to do the internal work. We don't want to understand. So that's where I was talking about fat burning foods and fattening foods. So again, everything comes down to calories. Probably the most fat burning food could be protein and fiber. Why? Because Protein is the hardest macronutrient for your body to break down. So what does that mean? When you eat protein, like lean meats, it has to burn calories to break it down. So technically protein could be, but you still need fats and you still need carbs, and you need a certain amount for your age, your body, for your age, for your goal, for your activity level. I'm forgetting one. Your age, your goal, your activity level, and your height. So everything, your energy intake is based on that, right? So we have something called your BMR, that's your basal metabolic rate. This is the amount of calories that your body just needs to survive. It needs to keep your heart beating. It needs to keep your immune system strong. It needs to keep the lights on. And typically us women are anywhere, depending your height and your weight, anywhere between 1200 and 1400, depending. The heavier you are, the higher resting metabolic rate is. The more muscle mass you have, the higher it is. All right, so when we diet, that naturally decreases, right? So I will save that for another video. So we'll just pin that. If that's something you want to hear more about, macros and the education around that, I'll be more than happy. You can comment below. Let's hear more about this. So when it comes to nutrition, it's not about dieting. It's not about certain foods. It's not about the specialty diet. It's not about carb cycling. It's not about, the carnivore or the keto or, peptides or this pill or the surgery. All of those things do one thing. They create a deficit. They stop you from eating as much as you normally would, which then we lose weight, because that's the law of thermodynamics. Now, before you even decide to lose weight or that something's wrong with your body, I would definitely encourage you to go on a little detective hunt. Put your detective hat on and start tracking your food. And from the time you get up to the time you go to bed for at least 7 days. And everything that goes handful, sips, bites, licks, if you have a scale, how much are you eating of it actually, and input in MyFitnessPal. Or if you have measuring cups, if you have to guess. But this is what this is going to do, is it's going to create awareness, right? And then from there, you can see, okay, well, what is my maintenance supposed to be? Did I gain weight during this time? Did I lose weight? Did I maintain weight? That's going to tell you right there what your calories are at, right? Because if we gain weight, what does that mean? It means that we're overeating more than we can burn. If we've maintained weight, it probably means what we've been consuming is maintenance calories, but it doesn't mean our macros are really optimized for body recomposition. So that's when we look at that. Now, if you've lost weight, it means that you're probably were paying a lot more attention to food, and it probably means that you just naturally put yourself into a deficit from awareness of tracking your nutrition. And then that would be your deficit, right? And then maybe if you were struggling to lose weight and just tracking alone helped you, then that's feedback, right? So it gives us feedback about our body. I know a lot of women are like, I'm in perimenopause, I have, it's my hormones, I'm insulin resistant, it's all of these things, a lot of it. And I know that this might challenge a belief system or something that's been told to you, is habits, years of habits that you have to undo. And those habits, they have deep roots of beliefs, and it can be so hard to break a bad habit. I have in a book upstairs that I forget what it's, who said it, but it's something like, it's easier to create a new habit than it is to break a bad habit or something like that. But it's so true. And so it's like trying to, build this relationship with your body, and this relationship with food takes time, but it starts with food first. It starts with understanding what are your habits first. Like, what are you, how do you consume food, right? Or do you drink a lot of, empty calories, meaning do you go to Starbucks lots or drinking pop and sodas? That's a clue right there. Is your breakfast lacking protein? Do you not eat breakfast? Do you not eat lunch? And then you're wondering why you're binging or in the kids' snacks or whatever. What comes up for you during that time, right? What is your habits? What are your beliefs about your body? Because I'm telling you this, and I'll finish by saying this, is that your body follows your mind, not the other way around. The body is an instrument of the mind. So what goes on in our body is a lot to do with our belief system subconsciously, what we believe about ourselves and what we're thinking about. And like in our conscious mind, we may be like, yeah, but I want this. I want to do this. I don't want to think that way. Yeah, like say an affirmation, but underneath you have a belief system that's like, no, no, remember, this doesn't work. And so that's why it's like an everyday thing. That's why I always say rinse and repeat. Every day is a new day. Self relationship requires you to spend time with yourself, to check your thoughts, to, work on your nutrition. Like it's like working on your self relationship. I did a whole podcast series, you guys know if you know, but if you're watching on YouTube, on self-love and self-relationship. And if you don't spend time in the morning with yourself, as soon as you get up with something that is positive, something that fills you up, then you don't have self-relationship. You are flying by the seat of your pants, and you are reacting to life instead of creating life and choosing life. It's what I call you are tapping out before you even tap in. So of course life feels like it's happening to you. Of course, your body feels like it's resisting you. Of course, it feels like food is consuming you, or you can't control it, or something you have to grasp at everything, and you feel so frustrated. Then it starts the cycle. It's because you're unaware of what is even going on. And how do we get aware? We have to spend time enough with ourselves, look at ourselves from an outside perspective, and look at our habits, look at our thoughts, look at our words. Do we move? What do we eat? What do we do on a consistent basis? Boom, I guarantee you're gonna find some golden nuggets. And here's the thing, your miracle is just a shift in perception. It's just seeing things differently. With your body, it's just seeing things differently. And I want to say this, and I want to say this to the woman that's so frustrated with her body, because that was me a couple years ago. I mean, that was me a year ago. I went on this journey of healing my relationship with food, and it was great in the beginning. And then I got to a point where I thought, am I ever going to get to feel actually good in my body? And now I feel this relationship. Now I've done this, but now I'm kind of in a place where I want to reach a goal. Like I really want to aesthetically look awesome. I want to be ripped. I want to see my muscle. Am I allowed to have that? And that was a belief I had to work through. I had to work through deciding what it was that I truly wanted to feel, and that it was okay to want something different after healing. That sometimes healing doesn't mean that you don't get to get the thing that you want. It just means that you got to go in before anything can change from without. And everybody's journey is different, right? But for the woman that is struggling to think that, is it even possible for me? I've had babies, or I'm in my 50s or 60s. It absolutely is. You can build muscle. You can actually get in better shape than you ever have in your whole entire life. You just have to decide. Can you love your body and have a healthy relationship with food and look fucking amazing? Absolutely. Absolutely. You just have to decide. See, it's a choice that we make. So every day is a new day, and today is only the present. And I mean, I could get into the whole law of manifestation and the law of vibration and the law of attraction, but I'm not going to today. But if you do want me to, comment below. Let me know. DM me. I love talking about that stuff, but it really comes down to that. It really comes down to this is the future. This is your present now. What are you embodying now? Because you don't become her by chasing her. You become her by choosing her, and choosing her every day. And the woman you look in the mirror, you practice loving her, and you practice looking her in the eyes and saying, you know what? I may not fully, love you at there yet, but I'm willing to learn to love you. I got that from Louise Hay, and that was my affirmation for a long time. I'm proud of you. I may not be where I exactly want to be yet, but I'm proud of you for getting here. At least I'm not where I used to be. And then it got to where I could say, I love you. I accept you. I approve you. The one thing that really broke me open was, I was doing, so like I said, I went on the self-love journey like decade ago now. It's been years of healing, but one book that really helped me was Louise Hay Mirror Work. And there was, she would get you to say things in the mirror. So I would actually have a mirror in my office here, because this is like my little meditation. I should do a daily vlog and do a little day in my morning routine. If you guys want me to, again, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, so I'd be doing my morning routine, looking at myself in the mirror, because that's what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to say things, create emotion. I could say I love you. It didn't make me feel mad or sad or anything. But one day I didn't do it, and I was in the shower, and so I was showering, and I just put my hand on my heart, and I said, I accept you. And I burst into tears because I didn't realize up until that point I didn't accept myself, right? I didn't accept who I was. I didn't feel like I could accept myself as I was. I felt like acceptance came from once I reached something, or once I got something, or from other people. And it was in that moment that I said, I am willing to accept you. I accept you. And I didn't realize that that was something that needed to be said to myself. And so, I feel like we've went all over the place in this video, but I hope that this is resonating with your heart, is that, words are powerful. And when it comes to our body, if you say your body is the problem, those words are powerful. Your body is not the problem. And that might be a new mantra. My body's not the problem. My belief systems are. It's like, universe, God, whatever you believe in, you could just talk to your higher self, whatever your beliefs are. You just say, help me see my body differently. Help me see how supported I am. Help me see how much it supports me. Help me see how results are easy for me, right? Help me see food differently. Just say little prayers each day. Spend time with yourself each day. It will build. It will get better momentum. You'll get clarity. You'll have breakthroughs. You'll have cries. You'll have resistance. You'll have anger. You'll have it all. Just be willing to go through the waves of emotion. Some days it's going to be like a beautiful ocean and a beautiful sunset, and it's going to be calm and it's going to be clear. And then some days you're going to be like drowning in the waves, but just know the waves don't last. And so let those waves pull out of you what is in you, what is coming up, what is the resistance, what is the belief, why did it come from your mom, did it come from religion, did it come from school, did it come from someone else, or did it just something came from you and it's something that you took on, but is it true? And so you have to be willing to do the deep work. But if you do the deep work, you get the deep revelation and you get the transformation. Yeah. Well, you guys, that is it. That is all. I hope this has really helped you understand that your body's not the problem, right? It's just a lot of the time it's lack of awareness. It's a lack of knowledge when it comes to what food is and how our body actually works, and the laws that the body works by, and the laws that the universe works by, and understanding our self-relationship. A lot of the time it's just we just don't have self-relationship, and we just have to get to know ourselves, and we have to get to be patient with ourselves, and we have to do that detective work. And then it's like, oh, what? This actually works, because I'm living proof that it does. I struggled for so long. Even when I competed, I just did this yo-yo with my body. And, I decided to do the healing, and that was in 2019. I did my first build. And that was the best decision I made, because what I thought food would do to me didn't. And what I thought would happen didn't. And actually it was so rewarding. It was all the other healing that had to come up later on, which is great, because when I decided to go on that journey, I never knew it would take me this long. It was even before then, when I got my breast implants removed, was when I really decided that I need to heal my relationship with myself. If I would have knew then that it would took me to now, till now to actually get the thing that I actually wanted, which I was striving for with my health and fitness, the way I wanted my body to look. But I had to first build the relationship in order to get this here, because I wouldn't have the capacity to take care of it, to make healthy decisions, to, hold it, right? That's why a lot of the time you're chasing something, and if you don't do a self-relationship, you won't have the capacity to hold it. That's why you'll lose the weight 1,000 times and you revert back and you keep gaining it back, because it has nothing to do with that your body's not capable. It has nothing to do that you have that food is bad and you're obsessed and you can never grasp it. It has everything to do with self-relationship and your belief system about who you think that you are and what you think you're capable of and what you truly want. That is it. that is all. Let me know if this episode resonated with you. Tag me on social media, comment below here, leave me a review, share this with somebody that came to your heart while you were listening, and whatever spoke to you the loudest, whether it was like yes or pissed off or whatever, it's meant for you. Dig into it. Press into that feeling, because that is where your answer is. I love you guys so much. Until next time. Bye for now.